Moving on to the next speaker, we have a teacher from Global Public School who's going to talk on the topic National Education Policy and its goals. We are presenting to you our dear sister Shahida Anjum. Assalamu alaikum, dear sister. I hope you've unmuted yourself.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir.
All right, brilliant to have you. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us, ma'am. The
Thank you, sir.
screen is all yours, and please take it forward.
Hello, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of mind to think. I am Shahida Anjum, assistant teacher of Global Public School, Davangere. First of all, thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak about the National Education Policy 2020. So what's its aim and goals and important highlights now we have to implement what the things is going on present situations and how we have to implement these new academic national policy. So I'm going to share before that I'm going to share that one my screen so you can follow the points easily. What's the new education policy 2020 highlights? I'm going to speak on this. So here I'm come up with the National Education Policy 2020. So new education policy aims to pave way for the transformations and the reforms in the schools and higher education system in the country. So there were numerous meetings and suggestions that were taken from varied educationists and eminent sectors, researchers. So, what is this aims? And before going to tell about these aims, I'm going to tell about some evolutions of the national education policy. So, let us hear. In 1968, the first policy was came on the basis of recommendations of the Kothari Commission 1964 to 1966. Then, in 1986, Rajiv Gandhi introduced a new national policy on education. Was modified by P.V. Narasimha Rao government in 1992. In May 2016, Committee for the Evaluations of New Education Policy under the chairmanship of late Shri T.S. Subramaniam submitted its report. After that, what happened here? The committee headed by Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan submitted its reports on May 31st, 2019. Now, after a long time, 34 years, on 29th July 2020, the Cabinet approved a new educational policy, NEP, based on the MHRDS draft of National Education Policy 2018, which was followed by a number of public consultations. It is only a policy, not a law. It's a concerned content subjects implementations of the proposal under the new National Education Policy 2020 depends on the further regulation by both the states and the center. So now, what's the aim here? We are going to discuss about the national education policy aims one by one. I'm going to brief it to you. So the next is here some of the important aims of national education policy. So first one is transform the Indian education system to meet the needs of the 21st century. So very amazing aim here. So old method of education system is going to meet the 21st century needs. So the next one, rectifying the poor literacy and numeracy outcome associated with the primary schools. And then focusing on early childhood care. So very important early childhood care is a restructure curriculum and pedagogy, reform assessment and exams and invest in the teachers training. And another one is bringing a holistic change in the education system of India. So if I brief it to you that it is aiming to making India, you know, that the compatible with the global tenderness of ongoing on the empower, especially the primary students with the literacy and numeracy outcomes, the very poor at present. So let us start with the highlights of the National Education Policy 2020. So the first one is the Ministry of Human Resource Development renamed the Ministry of Education. Then Our current system, we are going to talk about our current system. So 10 plus 2, it's replaced by the new system, that is a 5 plus 3 plus 3 and 4 curricular structure corresponding to the ages of 3 to 8 years, 8 to 11 years, and 11 to 14 years, and 14 to 18 years respectively. If I go detailed about this one, if you see these slides, you can come to understand that what is there here, the structure, pedagogical structure here. Our old academic structure is 10 plus 2 years. Now I'm going to zoom you to see it properly. So here, so first they have given the foundational stage, that is uh, three and 2 years. That is Anganwadi. The 3 years, first starting 3 years, they have given the Anganwadi and the preschool for the ages of 3 to 6, and the second one is the class first to second, the ages of 8 to 6 years. In this foundational multi-activity, multi-play and activity-based learning is going to be planned, and then the 3 years class 3 to 5 ages is 8 to 11, and this is the preparatory stage. The play, discovery, and activity-based and interactive classroom learning should be there here. And next is, then it is a middle age. Experimental learning in the science, mathematics, arts, social science, and humanities. This is come under the classes of 3 to 5 years. The ages is 8 to 11 years. Now we can move about the fourth year, that is the secondary stage. So multidisciplinary study, greater critical thinking, flexibility, students' choice of subject is there here. In the classes of 9 to 12, ages is 14 to 18 years. So now I'm going to tell about this year. Okay, now NEP has worked a lot on the earlier year of education. Reason behind that, you know that the world mental faculty is developed the best in this particular stage. So here, it will bring the age group of the 3 to 6 years under the school curriculum, which has been recognized globally. So it is a very crucial stage, development of the mental faculties of the child. So the next is, so next highlights is here, emphasis on the foundational literacy and numeracy and extracurricular educational streams in schools. So this is a fantastic move they have taken in the national education policy, that is extracurricular and educational streamings. Now it's going to be implemented in our schools. The next one is occasional education to start from the class 6 with the internship students to learn the coding from the grade 6 onwards. Really, it is very fantastic move they have taken, that uh, they have to be learned with the vocational educations, with the schooling, with the curriculum. The next is teaching up to the at least grade 5 and preferably till grade 8 to be in the mother tongue, a regional language. No language will be imposed on any students. So here I want to tell about again, it is a challenging job for the teachers. They have to select the mother tongue, regional, the different students will be different regional language they have, and they have to teach in the mother tongue. They have to regional language. They have to be take. This is the challenging job for the teachers here. So the next is, it is a fantastic move they have taken here. 10 days bagless breaks. This is a very blessing for the children. The children will very happy to see about this if they are going to implement this. The 10 days bagless periods, what they have to do, the sometime during the grade 8 to 6 to enter with the local occasional experts such as the carpenter, gardener, porters, artists, etc. Similar internship opportunities for the grade 6 to 12. So next point is, okay, here our progress card. We are going to talking about the progress card. Again, it is changes here. What the changes here? In the 2020 assessment reforms with the 360-degree holistic progress card, tracking the student progress for the achieving learning outcomes. Now the student education will be competences based and skill based. Instead of you, what they have wrote memorization, what they have the copied in the exam paper. So this report card would be a progress card in the assessing the 360-degree holistic progress of the child here. So this is also a very good move they have taken by the policymaker. So the next is a fantastic move. It is. It's a very good. It is the flexibility. What type of flexibility they have taken? They have taken the flexibility in choosing the subjects. There is a no rich separations between the academic streams. Child can have to use. Child can choose this match with the history or else music or chemistry, whatever they have to be choose. They are very free to choose their own subjects. So next is again here. So we are going to talk about the board exams. I know the board exams are very stressful for the. It's giving so much importance. We saw many newses also that the students and the parents have taking too much stress on the board exams. So 12th and 10th classes board exams, the test and importance, they wanted to reduce it. So we're conducting in two parts. The objective and descriptive exams can be conducting. So twice a year, board exams should be promote knowledge application rather than the rote learning. So it is a very fantastic move they have taken. So if I think this move should be have taken years and years ago. I don't know why we are focusing on rote learning, memorizing the facts, and rewriting in the exams. It is very old methods. We have to implement this. And the next one is I'm going to take a next move. Just okay. Now here. So here the gross enrollment ratio. So here, higher educations they rise to 50% by the 2035. Also, 3.5 crore seats to be added in higher education. The current gross enrollment ratio is higher education is 26.3%. So what is mean that after graduating from the school, there are a very less number of students who enroll from higher education. So it is a current 26.3%, but aim is to raise up to the 50% that they need to add here. So 3.5 crore seats also, it is a good sound, but amazing. But I don't know whether they have again the question mark, whether it implementations are there or not. Okay. The next is ideas are very mesmerizing, but let's see well they are implementing or in the practice or not. So the next is here MPhil courses. These MPhil courses they have discontinued, and the courses of undergraduate, postgraduate, and the PhD level. Now it is a interdisciplinary. The next one is single umbrella here. Education, Higher Education Commissions of India, HECI, to be set up for the entire higher education, including medical and legal, or should be in a single umbrella. There is a no differentiate between any higher educations now. So the next is we can see about the multidisciplinary educations of Research University Mehru at par with the IITS and IIMS to be set up as a model of best multidisciplinary education of global standards in the country. So what's the next goal? The policymaker, they wanted to make the global standardized. So the next is academic bank of credits to establish the faculties transfer of credits. This is also a good move they have taken. Then the next one is National Assessment Center Parak has been created to assess the students. The Parak, they will assess the students in the national education. So the next is Okay, here again the government participation is there here. It is also aimed to increase the public investment in the education sector to reach 60%, 6% of GDP at the earliest. Currently, India spends around the 4.6 of its total GDP on the educations. So it is a very challenging job for the government also, whether they can implement or not. Let's see. The next is the next one is B.Ed education here. Now, when we are progressing so many changes in the current education system, then the teachers also to be trained accordingly. So somewhere I read that the policy maker, this profession is not giving respectable people, not respecting to the teachers. They wanted to make the respectable position as a policy maker. They are thinking so as much as they use, and it is a very noble profession. So somewhere we are raising tenders in 2020. They will standardize the teachers. So because of that, here the national curriculum framework for the teachers education NCFTE. So 2020 will be formulated by the National Council of Teachers Education in the constellations of NCERT. By the 2030, the minimum degree qualification for the teachers will 4 years integrated B.Ed degrees here. So this is also a very fantastic move they have taken. Now at last, I'm going to tell about the importance and what are the challenges we are facing if going to implement. Definitely, since from the 1963 to 1968, just the education policies are modifying, but this is the third major you move after the independence. You can see about this education policy is a very important here. So it's cleared by the cabinet is only the third major the framework of education in India since the independence. It is much needed nowadays, and national education policy is making India to global knowledge superpower. So it is a very welcoming move. So what are the challenges here? The National Education Policy 2020 approved the cabinet has not been presented in the parliament. Still, it is pending here in the parliament. So it is only a policy, not a law. Implementations of the proposal depends on the further regulations, both the states and the center as education in concurrent subjects. So the last one is funding. Again, for the funding challenges we are going to face. So what the things is here? So major challenges is funding. Although they are programming to be the 6% GDP, but in the practice, if it is there or not, again we have the question mark. So their challenges are met. Then of course nobody can stop India and students and whole education sector to see the new sun. So thank you for all. Thank you for especially AIMS to giving me a wonderful opportunity and giving me this platform to speak something about the national education policy. And also thanks for GPS family to giving me this chance today to tell about some importance of the education policy and its highlights. Thank you for all.